I'm Dr. Susan Shaw. I'm the director of the Marine Environmental Research Institute based in Blue Hill. And we're submitting a project for consideration for funding. This is called the SEALs, the Sentinels project, and it's an ongoing long-term research project that is region-wide throughout the Gulf of Maine. It has major benefits, obviously, to the Maine coast, its fisheries, the economy, and the people of Maine, whose lives depend upon the sea. This project monitors levels, sources, trends, and effects of toxic pollution that goes into the coastal waters and reaches the ocean environment and builds up in the tissues of animals there. And so we look at toxic contaminants in indicator species at the top of the food web, namely marine mammals and commercially important fish stocks. So we've been focusing more on harbor seals for the past few years because that's the most abundant marine mammal species, and they're coastal. They pick up a lot of contamination, and they also show effects which are instructive for us. So the project, this kind of data, this contaminants data at the top of a food web, the vital food web of Gulf of Maine, is very much missing, and in terms of being able to regulate the compounds, we are closing data gaps. These data gaps are huge, and it's one of the problems we have nationwide in regulating toxic chemicals. And one of the things that Chellie Pingree has been addressing in the Congress with her legislative work on the compound DECA. So this project has generated information that has impacted policy. In 2007, we were part of the testimony when Hannah Pingree's DECA bills came up, and we worked very closely with her on those bills, and we provided information to the legislators, and and provided also testimony and advice that helped with the passage of those bills. We're very interested in getting a handle on toxic contaminants, because doing the work that I'm doing and have been doing for 20 years, we see the buildup in the ocean food web. We see the buildup of contaminants in fish and in marine mammals. And this is not the place where these contaminants belong, but neither do they belong in us. So human exposure to the compounds we are monitoring now are considered compounds of emerging concern. Many chemicals that have been used in this country are, now ubiquitous in wildlife and in people. But the compounds of concern now are like the DECA, the polybrominated diphenyl ethers, the flame retardant compounds, and the what's called a class of compounds, perfluorinated compounds, or PFCs. Okay. These are compounds that are used in consumer products. So human exposure is an indoor exposure through the buildup in dust, inhalation, ingestion, plus exposure through food. But eventually, these compounds make their way through landfills and wastewater treatment plants into the surface waters, get into the ocean.
Thank you.